everyone, in this video we're gonna look at pro tips on graphic design principles like space, balance and alignment. We're gonna dive in and understand in detail with live design examples. Stick around till the end, I'm pretty sure you'll get a new perspective on using principles in your designs. Mainly no design school or course will teach you. All these are from my personal experience and I'm gonna make it easy for you to understand. If you still haven't checked out my videos on hierarchy and contrast, you can find the link in the description. Alright then, let's get started. There are two types of space, negative and positive space. For example, we have a plain layout and we are adding an object. This background space around the object is negative and the main object added would be positive. This is basic understanding, but what if we invert the colors? Will the positive and the negative change? No, it won't change. But we can play around with people's mind by using it in a creative way. It completely depends upon the designer how we want to showcase the negative and positive to the audience. If I want to showcase negative space in my design as a key element, for example, here's a background with black, which is negative space. I want to add positive object in this. Let's add a letter. Now we have negative and positive space, but I want to use this negative space to showcase my art. I'm gonna add an object which is exact color of my background. By doing that, this object, which is this puppy, becomes a negative space and the letter stays positive, like these examples. Now similar thing works for text as well. Let's write a random word. Think. Now we have got an idea which is negative and which is positive, right? I'm gonna use negative space to bring creativity over here. Wait, but if I turn it to white, which is negative, the letters would disappear. Don't worry, for this we have to analyze the negative space just for this single letter, which are these two space. Just turn them into positive. Now let's get both letters close to it to form the letter N. Well, that's it. You can use this technique to any letters. We have seen black and white, a basic understanding of space, but there is much more fun way to use it. Let's look into few examples done by creative designers. A movie poster where using smoke they've created a face. The red background is negative, other elements added are positive. An ad about fried chicken where kid's mouth is turned into a chicken. Of course the background is negative, the kid element is positive. A hand used to show a bread which completely converts into negative space. A fork used to show people dancing in it, a perfect example for negative space. What about we want to use real objects to showcase negative space? A hand used to complete the bulb layer. A pouring wine showcased without a glass. A plate broken showcasing it as a tree. A paper torn and made it look like it's a cone. Well, to make it simple, firstly decide which element you want to use as a negative space in your design. Then later build elements around it. For example, this is a movie poster of Conjuring. First, this evil outline has been planned. Later, images are placed on right and left to form that evil outline. Finally, filling in with the remaining elements similar to it. A point to note, most of the time only two colors are used to bring the negative and positive effect in your designs. Now let's look at balance. There are three types of balance: symmetrical balance, asymmetrical balance and radial balance. First, let's look at symmetrical balance. Here's an example design. This is looking perfect. It has a proper hierarchy, contrast and also negative space is used very well, but it doesn't have a symmetrical balance. When we draw a straight line, we can notice a difference. On the left, we have a lot of elements added, wherein right we have a small text placed, which makes the right little weak in this layout. But what if I move things around? Now let's draw a line and check. Now we can clearly see the difference. So this is how we can figure out if the layout is balanced symmetrically. Now let's look at the asymmetrical balance. Like symmetrical shows a balance on both sides, but asymmetrical balance is moving things around in your layout so that you'll have freedom to place your object in your designs which still looks balanced. For example, if you see this poster design, it has a perfect centered balance in the both sides. Let's turn this into asymmetrical by moving the key object to left and main title and body text to right. This is a right way to give balance to it. You can see the clear difference between them. Now let's see the first design example. I think you probably have guessed it. Now let's look at the radial balance. When you arrange the elements around the center point, that's called radial balance. Here's a design example. You can see the curve perfectly placed in the center and elements like text and lines added around it. The main idea here is focus is drawn to center, and if we draw any angle line, it's perfectly balanced balanced all the sides. Here's another example. Focus is at the center and elements around it. But does it have to be centered all the time? No. It can be placed in any part of your layout. Check out this comic poster where the focal point is towards right center. Focal point and the radial balance is same in this layout. It's just that designer has changed the focal point position. Here are few more examples for radial balance. And now let's dive in and explore alignment. Let it be a good design, but the elements are not aligned to the layout, that design is gonna be lost. Alignment can be anywhere in your layout. Left, center, right, top, middle and bottom. First let's look at text example. For text, we just have 3 alignments, left, right and centered, because the main intention here is easy readability. A few things to note here is, if it is a big paragraph, left alignment is must, because our human eyes got used to read from left to right. If it is a small text, lesser than 2 lines, we can go for right alignment, but you have to make sure that it's clearly readable without any struggle. For center alignment, we can definitely use it, but make sure it's justified so that the right and left side are clean. What about the complete layout alignment? Well, most of the designers use grids for their designs. There are a lot of grids to use depending upon your design and style and concept. Here's a basic modular grid. It is used here to align text and other design elements. All the text are left aligned and the grid makes it more flexible to place text around the layout. Also, it looks clean and neat, a well aligned design. By using grids, we can experiment with the text placements and also image placements. But remember, to explore your own creativity, you no need to follow grids all the time. Make sure the alignment is clean and easily understand and readable for the audience. And mainly, all other principles are used. Here are few design examples. Overall, we need to focus first in the text alignment, later play around with images, elements and other shapes. With this, we're gonna end this series, Pro Tips on Graphic Design Principles. Finally, I wanna give a clear picture on all the principles. We just saw each individually, and I know you might have this question, how to apply all the principles to one particular design. For that, now I'll show you with this simple reference design. Let's start with hierarchy. We can see that hierarchy is not used clearly. As an audience, we still don't have guide where to watch first and where to watch last. We're gonna fix it. Here's how it looks by using hierarchy in a right way. Our eyes catches the image first and then the main title. It goes to the secondary title and finally other details. Now contrast. It's pretty much has contrast in color and size, but the text contrast used here is completely wrong. We're gonna fix that by making the title font same, and we'll change the font to little more condensed just to go with the theme. Now we have to match it with similar style font. By doing that, we have a proper contrast between the text, and I have removed the unwanted shapes here. Now let's fix alignment. Mainly the text alignment is completely wrong over here. Maybe we could center align the main title and also the character image, but we have too much information here. To fix that, let's divide it and add it both sides next to the image. By saying that, let's fix balance in this. As we seen in this video, we have to draw a line to check if all the elements are well balanced symmetrically and asymmetrically. It looks fine, but since there are too many text, let's add modular grid to it and place the text accordingly. Now this looks absolutely perfect. Well, we have achieved a good space. Negative and positive really stands out. Mainly we don't have any struggle following and understanding the design, but something is really missing here. This should be a fun and attractive post. If we play around with the text placements, we can make it more creative. Here's a before and after design. I really wanted to give credit to the design. This is the original design. Keeping it, I recreated it for tutorial purpose. I'm adding the designer's Instagram page. Please do check out. His design style is really unique and inspiring. And finally, principles are just a basic guide. It's like a strong base foundation to grow as a designer. But you always have to think out of the box and showcase your work in a more creative way to stand out of the crowd. And that's all for this video. I hope you learned something new and valuable. If yes, please do like and subscribe. I really want to thank all the comments you're giving so positively. It really gives motivation and support. Alright then, I'll see you in the next one.